And I have a story for you today from the word of the Lord that's about somebody named Naaman. And what we'll see in this story is that Naaman does something that's really silly. And so as I read this story, listen to see if you can hear what he does that's pretty ridiculous. The story comes from the 5th chapter of the 2nd book of Kings. And it says, "Now Naaman, commander of the army of the king of Syria, was a great and honorable man in the eyes of his master, because by him the Lord had given victory to Syria. He was also a mighty man of valor, but a leper. And the Syrians had gone out on raids and had brought back captive a young girl from the land of Israel. She waited on Naaman's wife. Then she said to her mistress, 'If only my master were with the prophet who is in Samaria, for he would heal him of his leprosy.' And Naaman went in and told his master, saying, 'Thus and thus says the girl who is from the land of Israel.'" So Naaman is a great and powerful man. He's the commander of the armies of the king of Syria. He's a powerful soldier, but he's a leper. And leprosy was a terrible disease, and in those days there wasn't any way to cure it. There wasn't any medicine for it. So Naaman knew that sooner or later he was going to die because of his leprosy. And it was also not a good-looking disease. It would show on your hands and your face and your skin, and it wouldn't look very nice at all. So he's an important person, but he's got a pretty scary and serious problem. And there's a servant in his house who's a girl from the land of Israel, and she was taken captive and brought to Naaman's house. And she said, "There's a prophet in Israel who could heal my master Naaman." And when Naaman heard that, he went and told his master, the king of Syria. And so the story keeps on going. Then the king of Syria said, "Go now, and I will send a letter to the king of Israel." So he departed and took with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 changes of clothing. Then he brought the letter to the king of Israel, which said, "Now be advised when this letter comes to you, that I have sent Naaman my servant to you, that you may heal him of his leprosy." And it happened when the king of Israel read the letter that he tore his clothes and said, "Am I God to kill and make alive, that this man sends a man to me to heal him of his leprosy? Therefore please consider and see how he seeks a quarrel with me." So the king of Israel, he got this letter saying, "Heal Naaman of his leprosy." And the king of Israel didn't understand that the letter meant send him to Elisha to get healed. The king of Israel just thought that he was supposed to magically cure Naaman, and he thought that the king of Syria was trying to start a fight, which is why he tore his clothes. But we read, "So it was when Elisha, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had torn his clothes, that he sent to the king, saying, 'Why have you torn your clothes? Please let him come to me, and I will let him know that there is a prophet in Israel.' Then Naaman went with his horses and chariot, and he stood at the door of Elisha's house. And Elisha sent a messenger to him, saying, 'Go and wash 7 times in the Jordan, and your flesh shall be restored to you, and you shall be clean.' But Naaman became furious and went away and said, 'Indeed, I said to myself, he will surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of his God and wave his hand over the place and heal the leprosy. Are not the Abna and the Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? Could I not wash in them and be clean?' So he turned and went away in a rage. And his servants came near and spoke to him and said, 'My father, if the prophet had told you to do something great, would you not have done it? How much more then when he says to you, wash and be clean?' So he went down dipped 7 times in the Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God, and his flesh was restored like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. So Naaman finally got to Elisha's house, and he came with his horses and chariots and servants and his gifts that he wanted to give. And he probably thought that something big and grand was going to happen because he had showed up like a big, grand person. And then Elisha told him, just go wash in the river. And Naaman got mad because he wasn't being treated like he was important enough. He wanted Elisha to come and wave his hands and call on the name of his God and do something dramatic. And he got so mad that he wasn't getting his special treatment that he decided to walk away. He wasn't going to do it. He wasn't going to get healed because it wasn't important enough for him. And Naaman's servants, they came and said to him, you're being a little silly. They didn't use those words, but they said to him, you know, what he asked you to do is easy. If he asked you to do something big and grand and difficult, wouldn't you have tried? Why not just do the easy thing? And so Naaman tried it. And I have a picture here that shows him washing in the Jordan. You can see all of his horses and chariots and servants, all of the things that show he's a grand and important person. And there he is coming up out of the river, and his skin is clean. It's smooth. The story said it was like the skin of a little child. His leprosy is totally gone because he did what Elisha said. He washed in the Jordan. But his attitude is pretty ridiculous, isn't it? Imagine you fell down and you got a cut on your knee and you went to mom or dad to get a Band-Aid, and they got you a Band-Aid, but it was a normal brown Band-Aid. And you said, I want one with a picture. And mom and dad said, we don't have ones with pictures. And you said, I'm not having any Band-Aid unless it has a picture. Would that make you feel better? If you had to go away with no Band-Aid because there was no Band-Aid with a picture, would you feel better? What would be the better choice? To just take what you're given, right? And what should Naaman have done? He should have said, thank you. I'm glad that what I have to do is easy. I'm glad that all I have to do is go and wash in the river. And then his leprosy would have been cured. Being grateful for what we're given instead of saying, no, I need more, is the much better choice. Maybe you can picture yourself being given a piece of cake as dessert and thinking it's too small a piece. I need 2 pieces if they're this small. If you say to your parents, I'm not eating any cake unless I get 2 pieces, is that going to make you happier? No, of course not. If you say to your parents, no, I'm not eating any cake unless I get 2 pieces, well, how much cake are you going to get? No cake, right? It's much, much better to just be grateful for what we have. And that's true for all the things we're given from all the people around us, and it's true of everything the Lord gives us too. Because we can say to the Lord, I don't like the way you've done things. I'm not going to listen to you until you tell me something that I wanted to hear. But that's not going to make us happy, because then we don't get all the good things that the Lord is trying to give us. A much better choice is to just say thank you to the Lord for what he's trying to do for us. That's what Naaman should have done right away. And to his credit, Naaman did go and listen to Elisha after his servants talked him into it. And after he was healed, he did go and say thank you to Elisha. And he told Elisha, I'm never going to worship anyone besides the Lord now. Because he got it. He saw that listening to the Lord made things better, and he was grateful. That's a much better choice than saying, no, I need it my way. When we're thankful for what the Lord gives us, then we feel like we have all we could ever ask for. Amen. Let us